so alive. I've never felt this way before. It must be you and I. It's got me thinking about us more. It's these bright lights, they put me in a daze, and I can't stop but think about the way that you move around up and down on that stage. It's your future vibes.
Hammer and chisel agility. This coming after 2 full days of putting together a new home gym. So my knees feel like old man knees, because when you're down on the floor for 2 days trying to do different things, screw things in and take things apart and put things back together because you didn't put it together right the first time. Anyway, the knees were a little sore. After I did the first, like about the third exercise, I really felt it on the second exercise when we were doing the jumps. But by the third, fourth exercise, the legs were warmed up. But this is a cardio workout is really what this is. It's I think last time I said I would rename this Plyometrics Cardio or something like that. And again, that would be my review all over again, because it's more about plyometrics than it is anything else. Casey's throwing her shoes off right now. She couldn't find her shoes that she wanted to wear, and her feet are hurting now. But Tony Horton in his videos always says, if you've got a pair of court shoes when you're doing these plyometric moves and you're doing the fast movements and all those kind of things, best thing to have on is court shoes. And I highly suggest that, because last week I did this with my running shoes on, and this week I did it with my court shoes. Court shoes meaning basketball shoes. Something you're going to use on the basketball court. And world of difference. My feet feel fantastic right now. Last week the bottoms of my feet were really hurting, and they got like almost hot. I don't know why they move around a little bit more. I don't know what the difference is, but definitely have a good pair of court shoes. But this routine slams my legs. It really is tough. There's probably, I would say, 3 times today where I could not finish the move for the full minute. The jumping, plyo, psycho, lunge, whatever they call them, diagonal lunge jumps, that one I didn't finish, and also the ones where you jump front to back. Now, that's two. And then, I don't know, this didn't happen the first round, but on that last move where we're jumping side to side, front and back, I cut out with about 13 seconds and I had to shake the legs off. Yeah, they're a little tired. So I was just being real with you. But today I really tried to concentrate more on getting deep. She mentioned that last week in her review, we talked about it, one or the other, that she was talking about making sure we get deep into those lunges to make the jump. Yeah, and I noticed in the video I was going like this and I was doing the jumps. I was doing side, and that's kind of more like a Tony Horton type thing, because he wants you to jump like the whole way around or 3/4 of the way around or whatever. So today I got real deep to start off with, and about 35 seconds in, my thighs felt like they were this big around. I was like, oh my gosh, and I had to shake them off. Then you get back in, and then you can't even really finish again. It's almost like Insanity Max 30 when you max out like numerous times on the same thing. Your legs are just done. So you get done with a move and you kind of start walking off afterwards, and you're a little wobbly. So good workout. I enjoyed it. What do you think?
And you had pre-workout today too.
I had pre-workouts, probably why I'm a little bit more talkative. However, I had a new pre-workout, whatever pre-workout she's been drugged up on lately. And it made me a little shaky, I will have to admit it.
I gave you 2 scoops, because I'm a 2-scooper. So I probably should have only given you 1. I thought about
Whenever you start a new pre-workout, warning, always take the lowest dosage. And I didn't know she did that, but I usually use NO Explode. That's my go-to pre-workout. I do also use Beachbody's E&E, and I've also used the new one. Can't even think of the name of it right now. Energize? Energize? Anyway, Energize and E&E are just as good as Eno Explode for me. But the Eno Explode comes in a big old huge tub and it lasts for like 2 months. So I like to use that, and I don't get jittery with any of those three. But I'm used to them. Yeah.
This was your first time using mine.
Yeah, and I got jittery halfway through, and I got a little dizzy. So, but I pushed through, and yeah.
All right. Well, you can tell he had pre-workout today.
I have a lot of jittery energy, but no, that's a good thing.
He doesn't have an off switch today, like I didn't yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like Phillip was saying, man, I can't wait to get my stinking shoes off. I tell you what, two differences were, one, these were my old shoes when I wore arch supports, because we used to do a lot of workouts like this when we were doing X3. And I needed the extra support because I tend to get flat feet, which when you're using gym shoes like mine,
you tend to get flat feet. You either have flat feet or you don't. During the workout, my feet get flat. What are you saying?
But I have flat feet.
Okay, she has flat feet.
And I need extra arch support. So I was wearing the Dr. Scholl's inserts that had the extra arch support. But when I got my new work boots, I never did go back and get any with the arch support because my boots were a little bit too small. So I haven't had the additional arch support to help maintain the nice arch balance. So now my feet aren't used to the extra arch support. It actually hurts my feet now. Okay, just go with it. It's my feet. They're whacked out. What can I say? They're a little cray-cray like me. So anyway, these shoes have the extra arch support. So when your feet aren't used to them and it's banging on it, my arches were just screaming. And I actually found that I had trouble finishing things only because that really hurt. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm a Phillip. The two moves that got me were the 180 jumps, again, because I started too deep too soon. If you go too deep too soon, you're only going to make it about 15-20 seconds in, and then you're going to go, ugh, and then trying to just get around after that is just difficult. So I actually said that. I said, oh, I went too deep too soon while we were doing it. So I set myself up for failure there. But so what I tried to do different the second round through it is, instead of trying to keep up with him speed-wise, I tried to just maintain a deep, and I was only doing like 1 to every 2 of his. But I felt like I was getting a deeper and higher jump, so I personally, I enjoyed doing that better than trying to go half squat and then just jump. So, because again, I really want to concentrate on building my glutes and my hams, and by going deeper, you're going to build better glutes and hams than you would if you just maintain. This will hit more of the front of your quads into the lower part where your knee is. So
yeah, but if you're going fast, that doesn't mean you don't have to go, that doesn't mean you shouldn't go deep. I was still going deep, and here was what I go, when I'm doing it like that, I go as long as I can until my legs are just about to give out. So it's burning for like 15 to 20 seconds in a row. It's really burning bad. But as soon as I'm done, I'm pretty much done. So I made it like 45 seconds the second round, but those last 15 seconds, I just was like, oh, and I was doing nothing, so.
He was getting a little you're getting a little
I felt like she was putting down my technique.
Wow.
And man, I feel like doing pull-ups right now. That pull-up is right above us.
He really does not need pre-workout. I was not criticizing.
No, she wasn't. She wasn't.
I was just saying, for me personally, I can't get deep and keep up with his speed. So I have to go a little bit slower, otherwise I was throwing myself off balance. So when I was landing more with my knees in front of my toes instead of my knees behind my toes, so my form wasn't where it needed to be for me personally. So I'm hoping that as we do this more, I'll build a little bit more muscle and balance, and I'll be able to go at a little bit faster pace and keep proper form, but right now I can't. And then the second thing that I struggled with, the same thing I struggled with last week, was that silly little, like Phillip said, where you jump and then you have to switch in the air. Now, I will say this, I felt a lot stronger with it this week than what I did last time we did it. Mm-hmm. And also my form was a lot better this time. I didn't feel like I was hyperextending my knee, or like I had said in last review, I think, I felt almost like my knee was almost bending over to the right too much when I was landing, and I could actually feel a little bit of strain on the inside of the knee area from it going over like that. So I was trying to concentrate more on trying to go a little bit slower pace to make sure that I was doing it properly and trying to land at a softer than I was last time, because the last time I was just kind of flailing around with it, and I was trying not to flail this time. But again, I felt a lot better with it. I think it's funny, again, Autumn and her, I had made a comment to Phillip about, when you're doing your, I call them around the world frog jumps, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
They're almost like doing a frog jump where you're supposed to stay pretty low into your squat, and then when you jump, you're supposed to jump with both feet forward or both feet back or both feet to the side, and she kind of does almost like a skipper.
A skip hop, yeah. You jump with one foot and touch the other foot, and then jump, and then shoot that one back out.
Which that should be the modification. If you can't keep it deep and push off equally the same legs, then do the skipper jump.
You'll find yourself doing that at the
as
end.
you get tired. Yeah, and you have to concentrate on not doing that if you're trying to move a little bit more. Yeah, so again, that's more of a modification move than anything. But I felt really good in the plank follow the leader front tappers, where last week I found I really struggled, especially when I did it, but I felt it was a little bit harder last time we did this, when it would come to the hand placement. I was fine with the feet, but that tells me that my core up top isn't, my obliques aren't quite as strong as what they should be, because it really takes your obliques to hold you in your plank position with your butt and everything straight and in line when you move your hand out. And I kind of was laughing at myself because I was listening to Autumn, and it was like the second round third, she just kept going back leg, back leg, back leg, back leg. And I was like, oh, she must be tired. And then all of a sudden at the very end, it's front right, front left. And it was just hand.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh dear Jesus, Autumn. And I actually yelled at her at one point. So because
I said, come on, Autumn.
You're killing me. But I felt a lot stronger with that. So it's cool that you can see this one, there's no weights involved whatsoever. It's just you against yourself in this one. And so I like it because it's fun to be able to see how much stronger you feel in each of these movements, because they do work so many different parts. And this one is almost all legs and cardio.
Yeah, and Casey's right though. We said literally three or four moves into it, because we've already hit our legs like 4 times. I said right away, oh my gosh, my legs feel so much stronger than they did the first time that we did this. So it's not just this workout, it's the combination of every day hitting those legs in this same typical fashion, And so the legs are, I was shocked when we got to those diagonal ones, and I was able to jump and land and jump and land and jump and land, and especially like the first 10 to 12 of them, they felt really, really solid. Then I had to start doing modifications, skipping through a little bit, or landing this foot first and then landing that next foot towards the end, because you're dead. But the last time we did like 3 or 4, and we were like, holy crap, this move is terrible. So yeah, definitely a lot stronger. Yeah.
Yeah, so keep it up, keep pushing through, guys.
Well, we're 1 month into it.
Yeah, oh, wow.
Tomorrow's 1 month, 28 days technically, not 30, but 28.
Yeah, so far a month into it, I'm liking it. We didn't work out yesterday.
It was ISO speed hammer.
We didn't
which
like that
we
one.
felt like that was not a necessary workout, and we decided we told you we would never do that one again, and we weren't kidding.
We probably should have replaced it with something, but instead we decided to put our gym together. So
yeah, that made sense.
Sacrifices we make, but we have our gym together, and that was interesting today. It kind of made me feel like we were more in an apartment setting today, which again goes to show if you're only have a small little area to work with, you can still do this routine in a small area. It was a little bit more challenging. There was a couple of times, especially when she was having to do the hot moves,
jump right, yeah.
That you're up against a wall or something, so just jump straight up and hold the position until she says to go another way.
Yep.
So there's ways to make it work, and then the same with the grapevine, and then the shimmy, shake, whatever that is, shuffle. Yep.
Yeah.
You can just stay on top of yourself more instead of
going real big with the grapevine,
over.
yeah, you just stay real tight with your grapevine and move those hips. You see me swivel those hips? I
You almost felt right there,
like
actually.
I'm back.
You're twisting
When I was
your
in
feet.
football, when I was in, when I was in high school, this was like literally
Dinosaur
just.
ages.
This is just like yesterday. It feels like yesterday that I was doing those in
class of what,
football practice.
1984?
No, class of 90. Class of 90.
I was 10.
Oops. So I graduated and she was 10.
There you go.
We met later in life.
I wasn't your high school sweetheart.
She was not my high school sweetheart.
Anyway, where were you going with that? This
nothing.
makes you feel like you're in football.
It makes me feel like I was in football.
Did you do this when you were in football? Because I'm a little bit concerned by.
Okay, all you guys out there, you know, if you were in football, you probably had to do the grapevine. I don't know why they have that in football. I guess it's for agility. It's for footwork. We did it in basketball too. Yeah, it's a basketball drill. And we would do the same thing. You'd go grapevine one direction and shuffle the other direction, shuffling like you're playing defense. You know, you're down here and you're shuffling back and forth. You ready to play some? You want to play some ball? You want to play some ball? Ooh. Oh,
not in the house!
Oh, she got it. Get it out of here.
Anyway.
All right, well, we're done. All right, talk to you later.